Hey guys, it's Mary at Homestead Dream. So I am coming to you today to talk about a few things that I've had a lot of people reach out to me about, and that is, what can I start now? Can I start anything? Um, what is left of the season? So we are currently in the very end of June, approaching July, and we're getting ready to go into the moment where so much is about to be harvested. I mean, looking back behind me, the garden is just exploding. Look at that trellis. So, while we're waiting for those to fully ripen, we can jump into what are we going to plant later, because eventually a lot of the things are going to start to dwindle out and you're going to be able to plant more stuff. So with that being said, let's show you how we do it here. I have, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I have these containers, and each one of them has like, for example, these are my pumpkin. Now I'll start with the pumpkin. If you are wanting pumpkin to be ready, okay, so let me back up for a second. Here in my zone, growing I want to say like 6A, 5B. You can find your zone by going on the USDA website and trying to find out your, it'll give you like your last estimated frost date based on your zip code. So for my zip code here, our estimated frost is usually, I think for this year, it's October 15th. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to get frost. It could very well mean that we will get frost before then. It could be after, but that's just like the average for our area. So if you're wanting pumpkin to be ready by the time Halloween approaches, you're going to want to start planting those now. Like, for example, the seeds that I got, these jack-o'-lanterns, you can start them indoors. It says on the back of the package. I do that as well. Actually, I just started these. I started these right here. They're called Winter Luxury Pumpkin. I think just less than a week ago. And they're already starting to sprout. Look at those roots. So I'm going to need to get those in the ground here soon. So a lot of pumpkin, actually, let's see, your squash, those are definitely going to be something you want. You want to keep in mind the days to maturity. So when you're growing things from the summer into the fall, you want to add about 2 weeks onto it, because the things will start to kind of slow down as the temperatures start to drop. But when it comes to like crookneck squash, the white scallop, cocozelle, striped zucchini, these are all 65 days to harvest. And so let's say it takes 5 to 10 days, so 2 weeks to germinate. And then you go ahead and plant these. Once they germinate, you'll typically get something within about 65 days. Okay. So with that being said, you can plant most of your squash now, and you can even plant them again in another couple weeks for another succession harvest because of the dreaded squash vine borer and the squash bugs, which I have been dealing with as well. Where did these go? Oh, I put the pumpkins where they go. So we got pumpkins and squash. There's a lot of flowers that you can still be planting. Melon, for example, let's say the Dixie Queen watermelon, that's 80 days to maturity. They may take a little longer because watermelon and cantaloupe are plants that like to have a lot of heat. So there's a chance that they may not work. If you want to do another round of sweet corn here in Indiana, you can start a second round of them. Beans. We got beans. I've got bush beans, and I have trellising beans, the pole beans. And I have started I think these are the pole beans. Yeah, Ideal Market pole beans. So I've started a few of those. I'm going to plant them along where the cucumbers are. Speaking of cucumbers, you can start cucumbers now from seed. You can actually, for most types of cucumbers, you can start them through mid-July. Like this one in particular, the Poinsett 76 that I got from MR Gardner, this is a 70-day maturity. So if we're thinking, if we plant them today, we're going to have July, August, September, and into October. So that's way more. So you'll definitely get some harvest from cucumbers. So plant cucumbers. Peppers, probably not, unless you go to a store and you find starts of peppers. You got sunflowers. That was my corn. Let's see. It is such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Those are some of the warmer crop items. Now I have a second container. I know, crazy, right? Well, let me show you. So this is my container with my cool weather crops. And then I have one with my warmer weather crops. This is actually, nope, that's sweet corn. This is popcorn. And we grow this every year. It's amazing. So I just keep everything labeled so I know what's in what. And yes, as crazy as it sounds, I do use all my seeds. I do. Guilty. Let me readjust the camera. There we go. So for cold weather crops, I did start quite a few things already. This is one that I'm kind of excited about. It is a purple cauliflower. Now, when you eat it fresh, it will still be purple, but once you cook it, the purple will be gone. Much like, let me see if I can find it, the purple sprouting broccoli. So I'm growing those just kind of for fun. I'm not growing as many of those plants because I've never grown them before. So I'm taking my time. We've got cabbages. You want to start yours from seed now, or within the next couple weeks, get them seeds going. So I'm going to be growing the Savoy cabbage, the late flat Dutch, and we got Copenhagen, and a red acre cabbage. So those are ones that are going to be started. Actually, I started those last week, and a few of them are already starting to sprout. My husband is not so much into leaf lettuce, so this year we're really going to focus on trying to grow heads. So this one is your normal, typical iceberg lettuce. We've got the Hanson Improved, and then this one's called Pablo. So it's a head lettuce, but with some different colors. And these are like some, let's see, the Hanson and the iceberg are an 80 to 90 day, and the Pablo is only 55. So here's the trick when it comes to these. You want to plant these out in your garden sometime in August. And you're also going to want to make sure which we're going to attempt it this year, to get some kind of cover to go over them to stop the white moth from laying eggs and then the caterpillars coming in and eating our plants. But a lot of the cooler weather crop seeds do way better and add more of a sweet taste to them when grown in the fall, and even some of them will give an even sweeter taste once a touch of frost hits them. So we're going to be doing a bunch of different lettuces. I did start my Brussels sprouts. These are in 85 to 110 days, but they are, on the back you'll see they're cold tolerant, and it tells you everything that you need to know about each individual plant. You can plant them in spring, you can plant them in summer. Let's see, we've got multiple other types of lettuce. Some of these I'm not going to start quite yet because I don't want them to bolt and go to seed. Although I think one of them is supposed to be a little more tolerant to the heat. However, like I said, I really don't want to jinx it. So those. Yeah. That's where we'll leave that. So, and I even, next to plant, I put this in here so that I know what's next on the agenda. Radishes. Radishes are going to be another one that you can still plant. I am going to end up waiting a little bit longer because the days to maturity just are nowhere near some of the other things, and they will get really, really hot or possibly go to seed. So like these radish, these purple plume, these are my favorite radish. These are only on 28 days till harvest. So those I'll be waiting on. Those will probably go in August into September. We've got onions. If you want to do, oh gosh, like the green onions, not necessarily like the bunching onions. Those you can start from seed now. I've never tried doing bulbing onions in the fall. Not to say that you couldn't do it, and that's what's nice about having your own garden. You're in charge of what you want to do. So we touched base on lettuce. You can do basil. We've got basil, and then I have I have my own one just for basil because I have so many different types of basil. Holy basil is probably one of our favorites here in the house. It has a lot of medicinal purposes as well as just being really good. And then we'll do a lot more herbs, specifically cilantro and dill. Those are my primary focus for the fall. So we'll be planting, actually, I think every time I start seeds, I start more basil and I start more cilantro and dill, just because I want to make sure I have enough to get us through. I actually have another container with herbs in it, and I have herbs that are like the marshmallow, dill, cilantro, hyssop. We've got toothache. I have some of them, oregano, caraway, chives. Chives are growing in the front. Those are a perennial, so they come back every year, so I don't necessarily have to. Borage, I am growing borage this year. These are also a medicinal plant, so I plan on drying those. I'll probably make salves or teas or something like that with it. Celery is not a heat-loving crop, but it takes 100 days to maturity, so that's one of the ones I've never tried, but not to say that it wouldn't. Another thing you can start is, let's see, what are those? 60 to 80 days? Yeah. Here soon, you can start kale and collards. I have multiple different kinds of kale. We've never really been into it, but sometimes I'll plant those just so that the white moths will attack those plants, leaving my other brassicas, cauliflower, cabbage, broccoli, and leave those all alone because I don't want them to attack those specific plants. I have more Brussels. You got kohlrabi and pak choi. I may start these. They're Brussels sprouts, but they're Red Bull. So they're just a purple. And then I also have the purple kohlrabi. So those are also something that can be started. We have parsnips, but honestly, I bought the parsnips and then I've never grown them. Probably because I haven't found a recipe to try them in. I mean, they're probably good. Like I said, sometimes I just grow things just because I want to. More things that you can still be sowing right now leading up until, honestly, I'd say probably August or September is sweet peas because they're cold tolerant, and your beets. Beets can be started now and leading up until probably, again, I'm guessing August. There are a lot of this is primarily things that when the cold weather comes in, they are going to develop a sweeter taste and be so amazing. So I know this wasn't your typical long video, but I just wanted to drop in and kind of drop some knowledge that I've learned over the years of things that you can still be growing, because the season is not over. I've had people say, oh, well, I haven't, I didn't have really good luck with this particular plant. And I'm like, oh, well, you can still start that. And someone, they may have taken a little bit longer to build their raised beds or to build an enclosure around it. And you're like, oh man, what can I start? You can literally put, so if you were to go to a greenhouse or to a box store, I try not to go to box stores because they're so overpriced. But a lot of greenhouses are typically starting to dwindle out about right now. But you can still plant actual start plants of just about anything, including your eggplant, your tomatoes. Actually, I think, let me look, but if I'm not mistaken, some tomatoes, so I'm starting a little trial. I've seen on M.I. Gardener where he had planted last year tomato plants in his garden in, I think, sometime in mid-July. And he was able to get a specific, or some kind of a harvest. And I remember with him being in Michigan, you would think like here in Indiana, you should be able to do that as well. So I ordered some more seeds from him and his wife. I love their seeds. They're so much cheaper than you can get anywhere else, and you get a really decent amount of seeds. Started the orange ox heart from there. And I've started this one. And these are 80 to 90 days maturity. Oh, and I started this one. It's called a watermelon beefsteak. I mean, how does that one not look? Like, it says it's an indeterminate. If the pink and red flesh doesn't remind you of a big juicy watermelon, the size will. Producing fruits weighing in between 1 to 2 pounds can give you a meal for the whole family. And it dates back to the 1800s. So this one looked super fun to grow. And like I said, sometimes I just grow a whole bunch of different plants to see what I like the best. But those are very possible. I'm trying them out. You can try it as well. If you have some extra seeds and you're like, you know what, I think I might want to start some more, then start some more. Because if something succumbs to a disease in your garden, you're going to want to switch it out with something else. You don't want to leave the ground just kind of empty and bare and open to that. As you can tell, the garden is really, really, really taking off. And I couldn't be more excited. So much happening. And we have gotten some tomatoes. So I've had one. I let my daughter have one. And we have tons and tons of green fruit. Oh, there's a dragonfly. I don't know. Let me see if I can. Look at that. Look at that guy. It's right there. But yeah, so every time something is done, I will then pull up the plant and replant more. So we'll probably be doing something with these cucumbers because some of them are more of a pickling kind, and I tend to grow pickling kind in the fall. But we'll soon be replacing. I've pulled a couple of the squash plants in the backup and replaced them with new ones in hopes. Oh, there's another dragonfly. These things are everywhere in my garden this year, and that's just so exciting. So exciting. So that the information that I've given you has been helpful. Don't give up if something's died and withered away or succumbed to squash bugs or succumbed to any other plants. It's not over. You can still grow more. And so, let's see. I kind of wish I do have a video, a smaller video where I had some squash bugs mating on my pumpkins this morning. So I thank you guys for hanging out with me and letting me share with you the information that I know so far. Now, I am no way a professional. I am just someone that's been gardening for a really long time and doing a lot of research. So, if you have any more questions, you can put them down in the comments. Otherwise, don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to hit subscribe, and feel free to share any of my videos. I appreciate you hanging out with me and letting us show you how we do it here on our homestead. Thank you. Have a great day. So here I've started the orange ox heart and the black seaman.